I never want it to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities I have. I can also be having the greatest time and simultaneously wishing people would stop sending me death threats. And I can only hope that despite my flaws and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
What happens when a Disney princess totally loses it? Rachel Zegler thought she could save Snow White with a teary video, but when theaters started yanking her movie off screens, she became Hollywood's biggest disaster. From a viral meltdown to a box office bomb, this story's so crazy it'll glue you to your seat. Want to see how one actress went from star to total flop faster than you can say fairy tale? Stick around, this mess is wilder than a wicked queen's curse.
Your curtain, please allow me to help.
Help? From you?
I didn't mean to offend. I just thought you should know that
That I should know what? That some privileged white guy thinks his opinion matters? Get over your entitlement. I'm not some damsel in distress waiting for you to ride in on your high horse.
Rachel Zegler was Hollywood's golden girl. Her awesome West Side Story role won a big award and had everyone cheering. At just 20, Disney picked her to play Snow White in a new movie with Gal Gadot as the evil queen. It looked like a perfect plan. A young star, a classic story, a huge hit. Oh honey, not so fast. Rachel was about to turn that dream into a nightmare, and it's almost too funny to watch.
Oh, but it's only been 2 days, give it a chance. No, I'm not gonna give it a chance. I'm not even talking about that number. Because like all the flops are unsurprising at this point. Something is going on behind the scenes with almost every major animation, video game, and movie studio that they're doing this intentionally or something. I don't f***ing know. I'm not even gonna talk about this. People are like, oh wow, Snow White flopped. Who is surprised? You cast arguably the least genuine, most out of touch, and disliked person in her industry, and her industry is Hollywood. And the bad guy is Gal Gadot.
In 2025, Rachel posted a video that screamed, "Big mistake." Filmed in her bedroom, she whined about mean comments online. She said she's got flaws, but people still love her like she's some broken statue everyone admires. So touching, right? Wrong. Her sassy, half-crying tone made everyone roll their eyes. Instead of fixing her image, that video lit a match and the internet was ready to burn her down. But the real kick was coming.
Snow White, so you don't have to. Let's get into it. Now, first things first, Snow White gets her name not from the fairness of her skin, as we obviously know. Rachel Zegler would be a miscast in that sense. Instead, she gets her name from surviving a snowstorm. Her father and mother are king and queen to a utopian communist society. I'm not joking, guys. Everybody shares and is mindful of what each person is getting, and we spread our resources evenly, which is where this idea of fairness, as Snow White is the fairest of them all, is really presented in the film.
Some even celebrating it.
Theaters gave Snow White the boot and fast. The movie made a sad $45 million in the US, chump change for a $250 million Disney flick. Compare that to The Little Mermaid, which raked in $95 million right away. By week 2, big theaters pulled it from their best screens. Some even stopped showing it completely. For Disney, that's like being laughed out of your own kingdom. Fans cheered the flop and Rachel's big break turned into a big joke, but the internet had more to say.
I'm a narcissist. Original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so.
Okay.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird. And then it became like, I will elbow everyone out of the way to play the part. That people will assume is a love story just because like we cast a guy in the movie. Right. Andrew Burnap, all of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
I say, if I'm gonna stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
And we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
What was meant to be a
X and TikTok went wild. People shared clips of Rachel's video, making skits and memes that ripped her apart. #Snowflop was all over, calling her fake and clueless. Every word she said got turned into a punchline. Some tried to back her up, but it was like shouting into a hurricane. Rachel thought she was winning hearts, but she just gave her haters a front row seat, and they found more reasons to hate her.
Visual effects push the boundaries of what we see on screen.
Their work makes the impossible seem possible.
With breathtaking ambition, they create magic that wraps its arms around our wildest imaginations.
Here are the nominees for Best Visual Effects.
Old interviews popped up like bad ghosts. Rachel had called the 1937 Snow White weird and creepy, saying the prince was a stalker. She bragged her Snow White wouldn't need love, she'd be a leader. Smart move, dissing a movie fan's treasure. Those clips made her look like she hated the story she was paid to play. Fans didn't clap, they raged. And they weren't the only ones fed up. Disney fans had enough. Parents said no way they'd take their kids to see Rachel's movie after she trashed a classic. Grandparents made TikToks about how the old Snow White was special and they weren't paying for her version. Even random people called her stuck up and annoying. They didn't just skip the film, they bragged about it on X. Rachel wasn't just losing fans, she was losing a war. But there was more drama brewing. Gal Gadot, she played it like a pro. At the 2022 Oscars, she and Rachel stood side by side, but it was frosty. No smiles, just cold looks. Gossip said Gal saw Rachel's mess and ran for the hills. And who can blame her? Gal kept getting jobs and shining while Rachel sank. Their teamwork was a lie, and Disney didn't bother pretending otherwise. But Hollywood had its own way of picking a winner. Hollywood turned on Rachel like a bad plot twist. Studios that wanted her before now acted like she was invisible. No new roles, no big plans, her co-stars and directors, not a peep of support. X says she's begging for small gigs, but the big names aren't biting. She went from Disney's next star to a warning label in 1 year, her fairy tale was over, and nobody was clapping. But there's a bigger story here. Rachel didn't just flop, she became a symbol. To some, she showed how remaking old movies can go wrong. To others, she was a star with way too much attitude. People didn't just hate Snow White, they hated her. Her team's trying to spin it with nice interviews, but good luck. She stayed sassy, never said sorry, and kept digging her hole. That's not how you get fans back, and Hollywood's already moved on. So what's up with Rachel Zegler? She took a fairy tale, threw a tantrum, and watched theaters trash her movie? From X memes to empty screens, her Snow White flop is a masterclass in crashing hard? Can she pick up the pieces and make a comeback? Or is she stuck as Hollywood's biggest what if? The spotlight's on and it's not forgiving. Keep watching. This drama's got more twists to come.